It is better to produce something than to produce nothing. Spend more time in your work, put more effort into it. You can take that too far. You can cross into an area of you're just not getting anything done because it never feels perfect enough. So the advice I'm giving right now is really going to be more for those who are looking to be professional artists who are trying to make a living doing this. Why does one musician not go anywhere? Same thing with artists, and one just takes off. One of my friends is a musician, phenomenal singer, songwriter, amazing, so good. But he never really went anywhere with his career. He just released a new song, and he was so excited to announce it's been years in the making. Years. Plural. One song. And he's amazing, the song will be good, and then he spent all this time marketing. You can't really be successful with art or with music and spend years on one project. You're not gonna get anywhere. He disappeared. I didn't even know he was still doing music. I had no idea. I've not seen anything with him that he's produced, well, apparently in years, as one song. We can't do that as artists. You're not going to be successful in doing that. Again, if you're a hobbyist, no worries. You spend all the time you want on something like that. What if you do have a project, a painting, that's just this huge, big thing, but you knew it was going to take years? You better be getting some small stuff done in between. You better be doing other things at the same time. You cannot put all your eggs in one basket of one project. It will never, ever work. With music, with art, one is not going to make your career. One is not going to pay your bills. How much money are you going to make off one song? How much money are you going to make off one painting, even if you're getting prints made of that painting? You're not going to pay your bills doing that. So if you're a professional artist and your goal is to make a living doing this, you have to balance how much time you spend in something. And there's not a definite answer, but a good example that I was personally really impressed with, unlike Pluto, you can find him here on YouTube. Phenomenal. He's singer, songwriter, he plays all the instruments in his music, he masters it. A few years ago, he decided to start producing one song, publishing one song every single week. Not only did his work just shoot through the roof skill-wise, he built a following because of that. That made such a difference in his growth because he was consistent. He was consistently producing stuff. You hear occasionally artists say, and there was actually an artist here on YouTube that used to say this, that when you started trying to do things on a schedule, so like as YouTubers, we need to try to get at least one video made a week. If you aren't doing that, your growth, especially in the past, it's a little bit different now, but in the past, at the time that this YouTuber had commented on this, you really weren't going to go anywhere on YouTube. You had to continuously produce. And her thing was that a warning to artists, don't fall into the YouTuber trap or whatever. Don't force yourself to try to produce one thing a week, really? If I'm gonna be a professional artist, I better be able to get one project done a week. It's unreasonable for me not to be able to get something done, even if it's a quick sketch to share while I'm working on a bigger project. Here's the thing, that artist, gone. Disappeared. I haven't seen anything from her in years. Pushing forward and pushing myself to get one thing done a week really, really helped. It made a difference in my art, improved. I was able to build a following doing this. That matters. Being consistent matters. It is better to produce something than to produce nothing. And I think that is something where we have to find that balance. How much time do I need to spend to make it good without pushing myself to the point where I just spent 3 years on one project? That isn't going to take you anywhere. It was just an interesting kind of study of these two musicians, and I see this with art as well. Like my friend, he's just such a perfectionist. And the things that he's changing, and it's taking years and years and years for him to work on, no one's going to notice the difference. I guarantee you, had he produced this song in the first week, very few people would notice that big of a difference between what he produced then and what he just is now releasing. You can't build up excitement on one project. And it's the same thing with music. I mean, I'm not all excited to listen to his one song because I don't have a full CD. I want to listen to a full CD. If I want to listen to that specific artist style, I want to do a lot. With art, you've got to be producing a lot to keep people's attention. If you do one amazing painting once a year, once every 6 months, whatever, people forget about you. Not to mention that the algorithms also start forgetting about you, so that's a whole other thing. On the flip side with artists, here's another story. An artist that I saw on Reddit recently. She was doing plus-sized pinup drawings. Not my thing, but I can certainly see where that could do well. Her problem was she posted complaining, I've been doing these every week for a year and they've not taken off yet. I was curious, so I looked at her work. They're half-baked projects. She's not finishing them. So, you know, you've got the other side too. I'm not saying rush through to get just something done. She's putting in, her project probably took 15 minutes. She wants that 60-hour payout. If you're doing quick sketches, one, that should be done every day, not once a week, but she's scribbling the shading. She's not really shading things. She could color it with markers or whatever. She could fill it in. She could do so much more to make it better. And she's doing these half-baked projects that don't look like, I see potential but she's lazy. She's being a lazy artist is what the problem is. And but you have to find that balance. Are you being lazy and just trying to rush through something really quick just to get it up? Or are you going too far with being such a perfectionist that you're not getting anything completed? It is very important, if you're trying to be a professional artist, find that balance. Your work is never going to be perfect. Don't spend 3 years perfecting something that would have been fine in the first month or so, week, month, whatever. You can really take the perfectionism too far where you will never succeed because you're never producing anything. But also that doesn't mean make half-baked projects and expect to go anywhere with those either. You've got to find that balance. And I think giving yourself a goal is a huge, huge benefit to you. The artist, unlike Pluto, phenomenal musician. And he got better because he was doing it. I mean, he was already good to start with, but when he started doing one a week, his skill just, he developed his style more. Everything just got so much better because he was just, got to get something else done. Now got to get on to the next project. I don't have time to fuss over this one, to spend a month or a year, several years, getting one song perfected. I've got to get on to the next thing. His work is better because of it. That is such a benefit, but put in the work. That doesn't mean, oh, I'm going to spend 15 minutes and so I have something to show you this week. You've still got to work your butt off to get that work done. That is important. So my point here, find a balance in all of this, because people have a tendency to go to too far of extremes of being a perfectionist and not producing anything, or half-baking projects, not really finishing them, calling them done and being frustrated that no one's excited about it. If you were not already, subscribe. Next week, we are going to be talking about ideas for making money with your art.